Hello and welcome to this tutorial where I will be teaching you how to build an LLM-based command line tool that will take your English and convert it into commands that will then run in your command line. So the tool we'll be building today, I will call it English to Command. And so what it is you give it an English thing, so I'll say make a folder named models, and then it'll say, hey, do you want to run make the models, which is the command you want to run. I'll say yes. And then if we do it, see a new folder is made called models. And so what I'll be doing is I'll be taking you guys through the process of building this today. Okay, so now you have an empty folder that we will actually use as the baseline for actually making our tool. So first, as usual, we're going to set up a virtual environment. And so to set up this virtual environment, I'm going to use UV because it does it very quickly. And so I'll just quickly make a virtual environment. Next, we're going to activate this virtual environment. So we're going to source the virtual environment /bin/activate. Cool. Now that we've activated the virtual environment, we can install what we need. And so we will install, so UV pip install Ollama. And that's our only dependency, right? So we are only going to be using Ollama's dependency. Everything else we'll be using comes from the Python standard library. Cool. Now that we have that, we can actually work on it. So we're going to open up English to command.py, and there we go. Now we can actually start working on our project. So what are the dependencies we're going to need to import and need? So obviously, we're going to import Ollama for our model. Then we're going to import subprocess as the thing that we will use to actually run our command. And then we will import sys, which is what we'll use to actually get the English from the command, right? Cool. So now we have all of that. We need to actually build out the process, right? So the first step in the process will be to get the command. Then we'll be to ask the LM to convert to bash or whatever your system uses. And at the end, we will run the command, right? So those are the three steps, right? So you get the input, you process it, and then you have the output. So to get the command, it's very simple, right? We're just going to use sys.argv, right? So this is the arguments we pass in, and we're going to get all of the arguments of 2:, right? And so these are all the arguments given to us in the command. So when you type like Python 3 English to command, those are the first two. And so we're getting everything after that. And so that's going to be the text we want. And obviously we have to convert it into one command that we feed to the LM. So we do a join, right? So we have a space and we join. So we take all of the parts of the command and we replace it with spaces, right? So effectively removing the first two bits that are just Python 3 English to command. Cool. Now we have that. We have to take the LLM and we have to ask it to convert this into bash, right? And so obviously our command is going to be a Ollama, and we're going to use the chat format, right? Because we're giving it the command we want, and then we're asking for a response. The model we're going to use is Qwen 2.5, because obviously we could use R1, which is a thinking model. But the problem with that is that it's very slow. And when you're in a terminal, you kind of want things to be fast and snappy. So we're going to be using Qwen 2.5, which is not a thinking model. And so the inputs we're going to feed it, right? So the messages, they're going to be, step one is we're going to give it the system prompt, which is what we're telling the model to do, given our command. So the role here, system. And the content of this thing is the user will give you a description of a command. You must convert it to a valid Linux bash command, right? Because I'm on Linux, right? So if you're on Windows, say it must be a valid Windows command line command. If you're on Mac, say it should be a valid Mac OS bash command, because Mac also uses bash. So it should be a valid Linux bash command. Do not give an explanation. Just give the command, right? So there we go. That's kind of all we need. This is just in case the model gives an explanation. We don't want to do that because we're going to be running this directly. Now, obviously, you could format it, give it JSON, and do all of that. But again, that's for you to do after this tutorial is done. Cool. Now we have that. We get the actual command, we do it. So this is the role of the user of the system. And the user will have the content, and the content of this will be the command we got. Right? Cool. And so obviously we have the command, but this is just the response. This is just the response object. What we need to do is we need to convert it into the actual command. So it's going to be dot message dot content. Right. So there we go. We have Ollama chat that has our message dot content, which should be a command. So now we have a command. So now we actually run the command. And so to run the command, you do subprocess.run, and then we do command. And obviously subprocess requires all the different arguments to be split by spaces. So we're going to split it up by the spaces, and this should run. However, this runs into an issue. What if the LLM accidentally tells you to like ORM after your entire system? You don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you accept the command first. So we're going to have accept is equal to is the input. So we're going to get the user's input. And so we're going to format this nicely so you understand what's going on. So it's going to be run, and then we're going to have that. Like in single quotes, we have a command that the LLM has asked you to do. And then obviously question mark. And then yes, which is the default, and no if you want to not do it, right? And so if accept dot lower, because we just want to check if, like, we don't care about cases here, we just want to check it. If accept dot lower is not equal to n, right? So if it's not like don't run it, then we run the command. Otherwise, we don't. And this should be everything. Now you can safely run the command. So Python 3, English to command, right? And so you can safely run it. And obviously, we didn't give it any command, so it just does nothing. But if we say give it something like, I don't know, make a folder named models, it'll say, hey, make the models. I'm like, yes, do it. And there we go. It made the folder called models. And that is the tutorial on how you make a quick Python script that will help you convert English to commands. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. I exist on Twitter and Twitch. Those links are in the description where you can watch me do stuff. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys all next time.